Well, hey folks, and welcome back to the Quick Crop Garden. It's a beautiful sunny Saturday evening, and instead of me just messing around watching TV or doing some other such waste of time, I'm going to tackle the greenhouse, which you might have seen in a previous video. So we did build a greenhouse last year in the Quick Crop Garden. We're a little bit behind on schedule, but it has been there for a year, but we've never grown anything in it. We don't even have raised beds in it yet or anything. So that's what I'm going to do today. We're going to be building a U-shaped timber raised bed in the greenhouse, filling it with soil, and we even have tomato plants to plant into it. So come on, let's go and have a look. So this greenhouse is our Freya model we supply on our website, and it's a kind of a more of a contemporary feel rather than your standard pitch roof greenhouse, and that's why I put it in here. I just really like the look of it. Now it's been here for about a year, and as I said, we haven't put anything in it yet, but this structure did manage to withstand the terrible storms that we had earlier on in this year. And I did lose a couple of panels from the roof that were blown off, but I was able to retrieve them and put it back together again. So I was, to be honest with you, I was actually quite surprised the level of wind that it withstood. So if you come on inside then, and we'll have a look. So the growing space here on the floor is approximately 2.4 meters by about 1.8 meters here. And I think the best thing to do is to do a U-shaped bed here, so that we're going to put a couple of paving slabs just on the way in, and then we can have growing space all the way around the edges. Now you might be able to see there that I have actually built a concrete foundation for this greenhouse, and that was because my site wasn't very level, and it just gives a much more solid fixing, proven by the fact that it's still here after the storms. So I'm going to get my timber, I'm going to get my fixings, and get all my bits and pieces, and we're going to start building the beds here. And I look forward now, by the end of this video, you're going to be seeing tomato plants in fruit in the greenhouse. Okay, well, different shirt, different day. It's actually Sunday morning now. I got caught up in something else yesterday evening, so I'm going to get going this morning. So let me just show you what I'm going to do. So we saw the inside of the greenhouse yesterday, but what I just wanted to point out is that the soil that we have here is really poor. I mean, I did dig it out to do the greenhouse foundation, but it was pretty bad in the first place. And in fact, my whole vegetable garden, the soil underneath is bad, but I've built it up over the years with raised beds, and I'm essentially growing in very good quality soil sitting on top of bad. And that's exactly what I'm going to do in here. Now, I pointed out this concrete foundation there yesterday, and I was going to build just a U-shaped timber bed, but the foundation is a bit of a problem because I won't be able to screw in the beds from the inside, which is what I want to do, or from the outside rather. So I'm actually going to build a couple of separate beds and then put them all together. So the timber that I'm going to be using today is from our raised bed range. I don't know if any of you watching know, but we do specialize in timber raised beds, and we supply pretty much any size or spec that you might want. But we also sell the parts for the raised bed separately, so you can make up anything that you want. And today I'm using our Premier boards. So that is 1.25 inches thick board. They're planed, they're bull-nosed, very nice boards. And then we're using the corner posts from our Premier range as well, and they are 3-inch square posts, and they're 14 inches high. And then we're going to use these steel brackets, which is actually from our Deluxe range, and that is going to join our two beds together. But you'll see how all that's going to work when we start building. So broadly speaking, this is what I'm thinking. I just laid out the boards there just to show you. So I'm going to go for a 70 centimeter wide bed all the way around. And then that leaves us then with about 1 meter square paved area in the middle. Now you might think that's a bit too much wasted space, but I do want to be able to bring a wheelbarrow in. And then also that is handy in the springtime if I need to, if I've pots that I've put outside that I need to bring in on cold nights. And then with the roof of the greenhouse, we do have these glazing bars, which I can drill them out at any point, and then I can run wires across the top of the roof. So I can get overhead fixing really at any point around my U-shape. So let's get going. I'm going to build 2 separate beds for either side, and then I'm going to join them in the middle. Right, so we got the beds in the greenhouse then, and now what I am doing is I'm using these pieces of broken slate. So next time a slate falls off your roof and you're cursing it, you might need it later on for something. And what I'm doing is I want the beds to look really level. So I'm putting a couple of bits of slate in underneath any corner posts that need to be raised up, because obviously we're going to see these beds from outside the greenhouse, so we want it to look good. So we want the beds to be level with each other. So that's nearly it. I've got a bit of adjustment to do there. And then obviously level with themselves then as well. That's looking good. And then all we need to do then is to join up this end piece so that we have our 70 centimeter wide bed coming across the back. I didn't do a brilliant job when I was putting the beds together because I've got this little lip at the end, slap on the wrist for that, but we can work around that. So we're just going to put on some metal brackets now and sort that out, and then we're done. So this is a galvanized steel bracket that we use in our Deluxe raised beds, but it's going to be handy here because I can just put it on the corner there, and then I can attach my timber at the back, and then I can put another one further up and I can put my front one. So that should be reasonably quick and easy. So let's get that screwed on. I'm sure lots of really good DIY people watching this are laughing at my techniques, but it's all coming together, sort of. As everything that I do, it's a bit makey-uppy, but it usually works. All right, all done then. So it's reasonably level. It's not perfect, but I am pretty happy with that. So we've got our nice metal brackets in there, little countersunk screw holes, and that's all going to be nice and sturdy. This certainly isn't going anywhere. Let's have a look from the outside, actually. Excuse the mess. Obviously, we're building site territory at the moment. So that is all looking pretty good. Yeah, nice and level at the outside. And I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, next job, we're going to have to fill it with soil. So the soil that I'm going to use to fill up the greenhouse beds, it's one of our own mixes. So basically, we always had problems finding decent quality topsoil because usually you get a load of subsoil and all sorts of stuff in it. So we've ended up mixing our own. Now this bag has been sitting here for a while, but let's just give it a quick turn so you can see. So we can see that this mix is a lovely dark and crumbly soil. And what it is a mix of a really good loam topsoil, which is screened for stones. We also have about 40% of EnviroGrind enriched compost. We add sea feed, seaweed and poultry manure pellets to it. And I think there's a little bit of horticultural grit in this one then as well, just to help drainage. And that's our greenhouse and polytunnel mix, but we do a range of soil mixes depending on what you want them for, and then we adjust our recipe accordingly. But I can guarantee you that they're really fantastic soils, and that's what's going to go in the greenhouse, and wait till you see what we can grow in it. So as it turned out, it's always the way on a Sunday evening, I didn't have quite enough soil to fill the beds in the polytunnel, but not to worry. I'm just going to plant a couple of tomatoes in one of the beds anyway, and we will be coming back to this in a week or two. But let's have a look at the tomato plants anyway. So we just had enough soil to fill up the middle bed here, so I can plant tomatoes in, and I have 2 plants there. Now I have to put my hands up and say these aren't the best looking plants in the world because they've been in their pots a little bit too long in the polytunnel while I've been trying to get around to doing this. But here's a good example actually of a little tip that I can show you. So this plant here is Sakura F1 and it's brilliant. I'd highly recommend it. It's a large cherry tomato and it just produces incredibly good yields, and this plant even is struggling and it's still banging them out. But here's my tip. When I was carrying this into the greenhouse just now, stupidly, we had a much longer top on it. It would have gone up to the roof there, but it wasn't secured to the pole. I thought it was, and it bent over and snapped off. So I just had to cut the top off, unfortunately. But the tip is, so you probably know that with cordon tomato varieties, you always cut out the side shoots. So they are the shoot in between the leaf and the main stem. And in this case, I'm lucky that I have one that I hadn't cut out, which is near where the break is in the plant. So now I can just train that shoot to become my new leader. So the point is, I suppose, if you are training your tomatoes in your greenhouse or polytunnel, leave the top side shoots until you're happy that you've secured the top because you just might need it. Anyway, it's getting quite late on Sunday evening now and I'm getting called inside for my dinner. So I'm not going to plant these plants now, but I am going to come back in a week or so when I've filled the beds and we can go through it again and see the greenhouse fully planted up. But I'm pretty happy with the day's work there today. I think the raised beds look really great inside. It kind of adds a bit of structure to it. I really like this greenhouse as well. This is the Freya model and no prizes for guessing who sells them. Of course we do. As usual, everything or nearly everything that you see in these videos we can supply. That's the whole point of our business, is we actually do it. We are really keen vegetable growers and we stock the stuff that works for us. So look, thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. I hope you found this interesting and we will see you in the next video.